We are going to be building with the Claude Agents SDK. And for those who don't know, if you've ever used this thing called Claude Code, it is probably the greatest breakthrough that has ever happened in agentic coding outside of Cursor and outside of sliced bread. And today I have with me a really special guest, and his name is Harry, and he's from Imaginary Spaces. And so the both of us together are really going to start to do like this exploration on what is this SDK that Claude just announced yesterday. I feel like it sort of went really under the radar right now because there's just so much that's going on here. And the principle here is that they're saying that you can actually give Claude a computer. And so my favorite thing about Claude Code in general, or just Claude as far as like a model of, not only is it really intelligent, but when you're giving it now a computer to go start to control things, maybe in a container in a different type of space, we're going to unlock these new capabilities in computing that we were never able to do before. And so previously you'd have to write specific code to do very specific things. If I get an email, it comes in, we have to run a filter on it, and all of a sudden it's considered spam, right? But now if we have an agent that can act on our behalf, not only can it reply to emails, but it knows a little bit more about my text messages and other parts of my life. It's almost like having a person that you're hiring to do stuff on your behalf. That's only one concept of this whole thing that we can do in this new landscape. And so, Harry, I'm really happy to have you on the show today to have us kind of take a look. I think you've already been sort of cooking with this model, right?
Yeah, I've been playing with it. Hi, everyone, as well. It's nice to be here. I guess 4.5 came out and we were talking about it 2 or 3 days ago. So I started looking at some of the possibilities with it, and Anthropic have not only trained the model to be better at being an agent, but also added a bunch of really cool tools. Like now you can save memory easier, or it's easier to manage context, or it's been trained to use tools better. So there's so many more applications. And the idea, or the question I told you before the stream, right, is that Anthropic have now said that these agents can run up to 30 hours really efficiently. So it's well, what do you build that needs to run for 30 hours as an agent, And yes, so I started playing around with it today and had some success.
Yeah, I want to see what you've been cooking with, because I know you've had some a project pulled up, and I want to see if I can kind of pull that up with this here. Maybe see if you can kind of increase the font a little bit so we can kind of see some things here.
Yeah.
Let us know if anyone's watching. Let us know what we can see. Okay, it looks pretty good. Yeah.
Let us know if you can see. So it's a really simple loop using Python and the SDK that Anthropic provide. So basically, I built this little script, and I was thinking about, okay, what do we need? Well, if we're going to build an agent, we need it to loop, and then we need to give it some tasks to do in that loop. And I created a pretty simple loop. So it waits for 10 seconds between every request. And then what it will do is do a little web search to wait for this countdown to end. So now it goes into a different state. Now it knows it needs to do some searching. So it uses Claude's web search capabilities. I need to prompt to use 2025. It's a little bug I noticed today because it's only trained up to 2024, right? So it's just looking for 2024 news. And then after that, it's sending that searched information to another endpoint and basically asking for a little bit of a report. And it does this endlessly, being able to define how long we're going to wait in between steps. But this is kind of like an agent doing something by itself, right? Which is pretty fun. So I guess it's trying to figure out where do we take this, because I got the basic scaffold, but which direction do we go? Do we get it to write some code? Do we get it to use a computer? There's so many different applications to it, but it was fun to make this in, I think, an hour or 2 hours, and it just works out the box,
Yeah, so what you did to get started, I know JK Software is just popping in here saying, oh, it's not new. It's actually been out for a little while. It's actually the agent that Claude Code uses, and it used to be called Claude Code SDK. So I guess they're now calling it Claude Agent SDK, right? Is that kind of what you're seeing here?
Well, basically what I'm doing is just using 4.5, but with all of its new capabilities. So the better tool calling, and then it also has the memory management that's been added to it now. So you see here we're using the 4.5 endpoint, which means we get access to all this like new stuff as well.
Okay. And you said there's memory management as well, where that wasn't there before?
Yeah, so it's like improved, and it's easier to, from what I've read in the documentation so far, it's easier to call. I'm very new to it all, honestly. There's like a lot of new stuff that came out with 4.5, so I've just
Yes.
been like experimenting and trying to figure out like, oh, what can we do with this, you know?
Oh, you're a
But you,
founder conducting research. Previous thoughts. You can iterate through the previous thoughts. That's interesting. And then you give it the max tokens you want for this thing. It says 200 tokens to iterate through the model. Okay.
yes, exactly. And then also just like web search. Right now, we're like performing our own like mock search, but we want to add like tools and stuff. We basically have the scaffolding of an agent with like state management. So it has different states it can go through based on like what stage in the process it's in.
Okay.
So the idea is like, yeah, to figure out where we would take this, I guess, and what we
So
would want to do with it.
right now, the goal of this like agent is to
basically just search the web. Just search the web, get me information, and then repeat that process for an endless amount of time. So like an example of this, for example, like something that we could do is like it goes and visits Wall Street Bets, which is a subreddit on Reddit for investors. And it goes and scrapes the data every day, for example, and finds us the latest meme coins to invest in, or, you know.
Oh,
I don't really know.
so what about like a Discord server? Do you know how to scrape Discord? Like, is it possible to like chats and stuff like that? Because certain Discords have interesting alpha and they kind of goes unmissed, you know, or unlooked at, right?
That's a very good point, actually. It's about how do you get the account in. It's curious. I guess like the place that I started at when I was looking at all of this was the 4.5 blog post, which talks a lot about the kind of things that 4.5 is really good at. Software engineering is a big one. We could build like a lovable clone.
Oh, I see.
Don't know if we want to, I don't know if that one's already been explored. The Claude Agent SDK.
Okay.
It's the same thing that powers Claude Code.
Interesting.
And then
yeah, let me take a look here too, because I think you're taking a look at this, and then on my side, I was thinking this is giving Claude Code a computer. So the design principle behind it, it says that like giving access to computers via terminal, it had what it needed to write code like programmers, and so yeah, this talks about finance agents, personal agents, customer support agents, so they can handle high ambiguity user requests like customer service tickets, collecting, reviewing external data, deep research agents, which is I think what you were working on here, right? The comprehensive research across large documents and stuff like that. I think Neuron says that Swix's Discord actually scrapes Discord channels, so I believe it's possible. Huh, that's interesting.
Curious.
Yeah. Finance agents, build agents that can understand your portfolio. So I'm going to just do that to ChatGPT real quick. I'm just going to ask it to like see if it can have any, if there's any projects or something that it can actually search through to like, can you find any projects that can help me scrape through Discord channels that I'm in? I just want to scrape different Discord messages for all the different channels that I'm in and different Discord servers.
That's nice because then we could have the agent just message you like daily, like here's all the things you missed or something.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, here we go, cool. And so I'm just gonna do that quick search and see what happens. Thinking, you know what? We can try Perplexity, right? Yeah, yeah. So that'll be it, kind of doing its search there. Okay, so yeah, because it'd be. I've had this request before. It's around financial agents, and there's some people who share a lot of alpha in different Discords, but then it kind of goes missed because of just the general conversation. But this is something maybe perfect for one of these types of research agents and stuff like that. Discord chat. Useful open source projects are here. Discord history tracker. Okay. Let's see. Wait, so if you want to build a bot, no, I guess, what are they doing? They're just listening to, like, the bot will have to be in the Discord and it can listen to, which I think is fine, right?
Yeah, we just need to
Discord
get it to
gas.
join it, I think.
Yeah. And then the bot has access to the channels, so therefore it should be able to scrape it.
Yep.
Download Discord Chat Explorer CLI. What's this? Huh. So Discord Chat Explorer, chat logs to file. Oh, it just exports the chat logs to file. Message history from a Discord channel. That's pretty cool. You can have an endpoint to this, so it's called within the application, and then it can be hosted online in a VM without having to locally. So maybe yes to both, I guess. So that's an interesting thing. So the agent can actually just hit the endpoint to grab the Discord messages, right? And reason with them within its own little type of thing. So that way it's kind of completely interesting architecture. So yeah, I guess we're kind of exploring a lot of different things. I think Eraser.io or something. We can kind of try to maybe talk about maybe what this looks like, huh? I'm just really curious. So yeah, there's a couple different ideas. I also want to explore a little bit more as far as like maybe what's currently offered. So besides the finance agents, customer support agents, you're saying to build a basic agentic loop, we basically have to gather context, take some type of action, and verify the work. And that's just basically our simple loop here, right? We're just going to go back and forth. This basically multiplies over and over as far as like what's the bigger spec for the outcome that we want, maybe kind of defining that, and then how we gather context. So you want to give it more than just a prompt. It needs to be able to fetch and update its own context. And here's how the features of SDK help. So search and a file system. So when Claude encounters large files like logs or user uploaded files, we decide which way to load these files with scripts like grep or tail. So the folder and the file structure of an agent actually becomes a form of context engineering. So that's interesting. So whenever you pass in like agent / conversation / this MD, this actually puts it into the context as far as like what it's supposed to be doing. So if we want, that really makes sense because I actually have a thing where I have for my documentation, I have something that's called active as a folder. It's literally like a Kanban board, but for documents for my planning. It's this like document is active, completed, and planned. So planned is basically the like to do, what's next. And then active is like what it's actively working on. So that's an interesting way. I didn't realize they're actually calling that out as a way of doing context engineering. That's super duper helpful. So our email agent might store previous conversations in a folder called conversations. So this would allow it to search previous for these contexts when it's asked about them. So in essence, by passing in just this one file tree, you don't have to pass in like the file actual name is the sort of keywords that the agent will need to see.
Picks up on you.
Yeah, and that's how it knows at least that it should kind of go in. And so the next step in the agentic loop would be to grep or tail anything that's in here. So we can just say, hey, just give me the last 100 lines of this file, or look for specific things in this file so they can get out of it. Yeah,
That's nice because if you have like a long-running agent of like 30 hours and you have a log document that's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lines, right? You just grab the last 10 minutes or something and see what it was doing.
Exactly.
It's quite cool.
Yeah. And that's usually how it works in like bigger like build systems for software. Whenever you have these build systems that kick off, there's all these logs that happen and usually kind of tail the last 100 lines or something, and then you can quickly see if there's like this repeatable failure, and then from there you can take the next step and say, okay, I want you to, like, now that we have this error code, you can say, okay, the error is now around this specific project. Let me go ahead and start to search anything else around that. So in essence, kind of thinking in a agentic autonomous architectures, like really separating things as simple as possible, but having enough so that we can capture information from all these different areas. So it's sort of like a big spider web, right? Like here's a big spider web. We can always kind of point back to where something can kind of lead us to the middle. And that's kind of like maybe for debugging. So I'm trying to figure out like this is just interesting, just trying to go through the understanding of how this works a little bit, what we have tool wise. And then maybe for those who are watching, in our next video, we'll probably come up with some ideas by the end of this video. And in the next video, we'll probably try to see if we can implement them, because I don't know, playing with these types of frameworks, there's just a lot to really unpack as far as what we have here. And I think the outcome for me is like, I want to learn how to build with these products, because these are products I use to write code for me. And, once you kind of learn the ins and outs of things, then you can become a really good person who's good at context engineering, pretty good at like making your own agents that can do things. And this is actually a very highly valuable skill in the market if you're just trying to up level your skills. So you're going from just writing very specific pieces of software to architecting like problem solving agents, right? So you're sending the droids, you're sending all the things to do the work for you. And I think hopefully you can get some interesting alpha out of this conversation. So someone's like building the agents. The sub agent is only returning back what the main agent needs for and nothing else. Okay, so if we send a task to the sub agent, it will do whatever it needs to do, whether it's tailing logs and doing all these other tasks, and get enough context to then send that back up to the main agent. So if I guess we're kind of taking a look at here, maybe up here you have a very high level agent to say, debug why the software is failing to build. And then so it spawns off these different tasks, right? So the tasks are doing the things. They're the ones who are actually doing the work in the fields and doing the different stuff. And then they report back to saying, hey, it's actually, the main water valve is blown up. That's why no one's getting water over here. And then so the main agent's like, okay, I know what to do with that. I'm going to go spin off the guy who is the plumber and then, have the plumber go take a look and then see if it can fix it for us. And so in essence, that's really interesting how we're equipping these specialty skills for our app, right? Or whatever task we want to do to kind of give them and then at the very beginning, it could be kind of vague as far as what that specific task can do, but then we can add more features to it to get it to be more rich, right? So if the debugger now needs another specialized tool, we can probably write that tool or pull it in to leverage it.
Yep.
That way.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Because I think the goal is going to be like composability. So, I mean, it's sort of very similar to object-oriented programming, right? So it's just like the whole world is objects. Like this is an object, and you're just describing the smaller elements and then they kind of smash together in the world and at runtime, so when things are actually running, that's how they interact. And if you need features for a thing, if the cup needs, to do a certain feature, or if the car needs to go backwards, we just add a function to the car to say go backwards, right? Like, otherwise it doesn't need to have it, right? Like the kind of keeping things really simple as possible. Yeah, this is an interesting conversation. Yeah.
My question to chat is like, what have you guys seen like useful use cases of agents so far? Like, what have you seen on the web? Any cool demos or anything? Because I think when you Google agents right now, there's like not that much online. It's such like a new industry, right? Like all this technology is just coming out now to support this. So I don't know if anybody in the audience has seen something cool as well.
Yeah, I would love to hear if anyone, is basically watching. Please let us know if there's any really cool agent that you would like to see. I think we're all kind of I think right now people are coding with them, right? Like making coding agents. But I bet you there's some other cool stuff now that we're talking out loud that we can probably do. So this is the sub agents things. I think everyone is quiet as a massive production alpha at the moment. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, maybe they're not like trying to like spill the beans on something really big they're working on. I don't know. Maybe not. I think everyone's just as confused as we are. Right?
The only thing I've seen it like really touch like commercially at the moment is support centers, chatbots, which is obvious, and then sales reps as well, like doing outbound at scale.
Oh.
But it feels kind of sleazy, to be honest with you. I don't know if I want to do it.
Right. Yeah. No, like, so things that impact my everyday life, I think what are some frustrations? Researching is a big deal. And, is like ChatGPT is good. I mean, I don't mind doing that. Like my friend in the finance industry says, like, I like to find alpha in these different discords. And so some type of like Discord scraping and reasoning, but that's more geared towards his outcomes, right? Not necessarily the outcomes of the Discord, but just kind of looking at it from a different perspective. But this one has like a function for receiving email and doing stuff. Indie Dan has a lot of his stuff. He just released a custom agent course yesterday. Oh, wow.
Cool.
I'm curious to see what outcomes people use. Check us on a task, search Slack messages for email agent with the MCP. Okay, so they can connect MCPs. Ooh. Yeah.
Project management would be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking about building an agent to refine user stories. So it triggers sub agents to look into code checks, and the complexity then updates the user stories and things like that. You know what? I have Yeah, like that's an interesting one too. You know what could be really interesting is like there's I kind of call it like misinformation stuff. So one problem I have is there's stuff that's online that you read and you don't really know like if it's truthful or not. And I feel like sometimes I don't have time to read like a 15 to 20-minute piece and to really understand if it's really like kind of worth my time. And so I made this quick app a while back, like almost a couple years ago. And so this will basically take like some analysis and do some type of thing. So like I got the Mark Andreessen, one part of his like Techno Optimist Manifesto. And so what you do here in this type of thing, and this is before I had web access to things. This is just literally an LLM call. And it would just give a summary of what this article was about. And then it does an analysis on the tone, like emotional appeals, like how it appears to fear and like sentiment as well. And then it also like breaks down logical fallacies and stuff. And so to me, it's like having a lawyer read it like really quickly and kind of give me some, like what are these people actually saying and how are they positioning what they say to have the impact that it does, right? And so something like this could be really interesting, especially maybe like for YouTube videos now. I feel like with YouTube videos, there's always these bold claims or like stuff that I see online, and that if it can do, like if an agent can start to go through and put together some of these things, it could be really interesting as far as, so this is kind of like, I guess I would say like more research based. But this is only like my minor use case. Yeah.
I guess like I could tie onto that because I think it'd be interesting to find out what's trending in our industry on YouTube and get like Claude to go watch a bunch of videos for us, and find out like what's popping.
And do like an analysis like that. Yeah. So that could be interesting. So you can literally, okay, I got it now. So a lot of times when you're watching like these different videos, people don't want to get brain rot. So, but like also the opposite way, or like how do you teach an agent to be as autonomous and look up the trending and see who's publishing videos and see what reaction there is, and like to go look for the comments, to go look at the things, what are people saying right now? And so there's this other service that does podcasting. So they basically get transcripts from all these different podcasts in as soon as they're published, and then it listens for the keywords for that specific brand. So that's only like podcasts, right? But I guess that can be expanded out for these companies, because if you do a campaign for your new app and you're like Coca-Cola or something, you want to see what the reaction is online from everyone else, maybe in real time. And because we have language models now, language models can actually understand large volumes of data and can understand sentiment. So in these different languages, these people are feeling this way. And then on this type of space with these types of people, like this is how they react to it, right? And here's these new things that people are posting about it. So like, it's almost like, for marketing research, right? In some way, which is super valuable, which can automate a lot of time. But this is perfect for like, for us, right? We have background agents for coding. So by deploying a coding background agent, it's doing our work. We know what needs to be done next, right? We delegate that task to the background agent saying, okay, I need you to redesign this front end. I already give you the specs, go. And so we don't have to give it much else. We just tell it to, do the thing. And so what if we did that for marketing, right? So for marketing research, like you're saying, to look up a very specific campaign for a brand, or look up what people are saying about me online or something like that. Or I don't know, like, what do you think?
It gives us an edge, right? Because I can then tap in and find out what videos people want me to make as well. Or like for yourself, like you can find out what videos or streams people want to be seeing. And like
Alex Finn. So Alex Finn has an app and it's called Creator Buddy. And that basically helped. I mean, he's scraping the X API, that when people sign up. Right? Yeah. It's like trying to figure out how they can be a better reply person, like a reply buddy, and then like how to, like help you actually like be better with the Twitter algo, right? And like all that type of thing. So like he's already playing around with it. I'd love to have you on the show, Alex. It'd be really cool if we just do an episode where we kind of hang out and talk about this, because I'd love to hear how you're kind of pulling this in. That'd be super fire, to do this type of thing. Yeah. For legal purposes, I'm
legal
not scraping it.
purpose.
Yeah, you're not scraping X. That's right. He's not scraping X. He's. I said that as a general broad term, but I think he's doing analysis on it, and so yeah, 100%, 100%. It's using the $5,000, bro.
Oof.
Yeah, you're cooking, bro. I've been building with it since a few months when it came out as Cloud. I'm curious to see like what are some of the things that people are coming into as far as issues and stuff, because it should be able to run a long time. Started writing SQL Server agent today and interacts with MySQL Server to provide Cloud code about context about my databases. Ooh, that's really cool. So one wants to refine an agent for user stories and trigger sub agents to look into the code and check complexity of the system updates. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's interesting. So I guess, I mean, for marketing, it has access to the web, right?
Yep.
You have some notes here? Okay. Oh.
I was just putting together a little whiteboard. So.
Oh, cool. Wow.
If we were thinking about our YouTube agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody in the comments said about sub agents. I think that's a really cool idea. So if you think about it, each sub agent's going to have like some particular tools that they have access to. They have like a couple of objectives, so get the transcript and get the comments. But what's cool then is we can basically just launch like 5 sub agents at one time to go watch 5 videos, and then just kind of scale that up as we go.
I like this.
So they're all doing individual jobs. I mean, we could launch 100, right? And they all go each watch a YouTube video individually. Or if we want, we could also get them to go and watch like, I don't know, 5. And then we would just want the YouTube agent to have memory. So it has context of the previous searches that it's been done. So before it goes and tells the sub agent, like, go and look at like this trend or this video, maybe it can either tell it in the prompt, like, I've already gone and looked at all of these YouTube videos, or pass it into the context of the agent. So like here's the memories of all the videos we've seen so far.
I know where we can get inspired now. Check this out. There's this thing called Gum Loop. And so this is basically, this has like different operations and engineering and different types of workflows. And I want to say that there are already popular solutions on here for, yeah. And so if we can get one of these types of things, but then enhance it or make it better that they can't do, I think this is probably like a good signal, right? Because if there's like solutions for sales or something, what do they say for sales? Spend more. Let's see, resources, templates. Yeah, let's look for templates.
There you
go. Okay, so what do they say? Invoice data extractor, Slack channels.
Divya asks, wait, can sub-agents launch other sub-agents? You can launch as many as you want, like going down the pyramid. God knows how like responsive that is and whether it breaks. But yes, you could have an agent launch an agent, launch an agent, launch an agent, launch an agent, and then spin all of that back and make a very complicated pyramid scheme of agents at the same time.
Whoa. Emerging founder scout. Yeah, this is kind of on some of these topics. Invoice data extractor. I mean, I think about this also from, like that the invoice data extractor is interesting. Because like I think about accountants, right? Like in some of these fields, they must do a lot of really manual work, not only to extract invoices, but to do like the whole reason is like maybe tax accounting, right? Or compliance or something like that, which is kind of like unsexy because it's not, but I really do feel like, a conversation with somebody in that field can be like, oh yeah, I do X, I do Y, I do Z. And like, this is my repeatable flow all the time, but then I do this, but then I do this. That's interesting. SEO marketing, document processing.
John had a sick idea in chat. He said, I asked ChatGPT to look at unfinished real estate, check the pictures, and then do an estimate of how much it would cost to flip it, and if it would be worth selling and for which price. That's a hell of a use case. That's
pretty fire, actually. And then they can make a phone call with like 11 labs to like get some, right? Because actually that'd be fire. Like, for real estate agents, if you have like a real estate license, it's like kind of this automated, like And then you could probably have it look at some Google satellite images. There's probably a lot we could do with that.
I mean, there's data that you can access through the US Gov as well about like land value. So you could tie that in and get like the actual value of the land the property's on as well.
Oh, and then also look like on Zillow or something to see if there's a trend right now in homes being sold. And then like you can keep track of that in some files and see if there's changes over time. Like write a script that will
That'd
just
be
look
fire.
through. Yeah. Because you would just literally
Yeah,
write that
because
to
it
a
has
CSV.
memory, right?
Yeah. So, and then you
Yeah.
don't even need a database. You just write it to a CSV file. You're just like, today I searched Zillow. Here are the listings. Here's what's sold. And then you keep track of the different
Yeah.
MLS records and just keep pinging those into a workflow. So I guess if we can start to kind of maybe map a, I don't know. We're starting off with something that so the other thing is like, would someone pay for that, right? Would someone pay for this type of service? In essence, probably, right? I mean, this is basically real estate market research. Yeah.
Gives them an edge as well because they save hours of like trawling the web. And I bet ChatGPT deep search is good, but like it's probably not as good as like an agent running 30 hours doing it every single minute of the day for you. And there's no input from
Interesting.
you.
Yeah.
In some sense, the agent's doing everything for you in that regard. Too
Mm.
many ideas, says Lisa as well.
Yeah. 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 There's like so many different ideas, but like, how do we, okay, what, like, I don't know. What motivates me or what kind of wakes me up, you know? I think, yeah, there's just, yeah, there's so many different ideas. I don't know. Yeah.
Let's think on it maybe rather than
Yeah,
jumping the gun. So
exactly.
uh, we could always jump on the next stream, and that's the stream we have to tell all of you lovely people our idea and commit to
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Our challenge today is that like we're basically just kind of, for those who are just kind of tuning in, we're taking a look at Anthropic's like SDK. And so they've rebranded this thing now. It's called the Anthropic Claude Agent SDK. And so this Claude agent will basically allow us to have a tool that's as good as Claude Code. And in essence, we're sort of giving it this computer to do these autonomous types of tasks. So it's a really simple loop that we're really doing, but this is the key to unlock this autonomy for, you know, the AI agentic world. So it's a loop that just can gather some information, take some action, and verify it. And so whatever big outcome we want to achieve, whether it's to climb Mount Everest, usually we'll break down to these three different steps. So you start off somewhere in the world, and then you somehow get to your goal. And there are different techniques that they outline here that we can use, from searching to initializing subagents to a lot of tools that we've seen when we use Claude Code, you know. And then so with tool use, this explodes out to different types of features that we can have at our disposal. So just like anything in the world, when you have too much choice for yourself to build, what do you build? And so I think the next phase here is that, like, let's just see if we can find some, like, for me, I'm going to come back like in the next week or so with like some different ideas that could be very profitable, right? Go interview people in my community, go talk to them and see what are they doing by hand that's manual, right? Can I either make an AI app for it, or can I actually use the AI SDK, the Agent SDK, to help us with that, right? Are there these tasks where they hire a lot of other people to do them? Can we help automate that to make their lives easier, right? Do these people just need simple tools to do some of the basic work that needs to be done, right? Whether it's literally this paper process of scanning a document, ingesting it and putting it into this other system, you know, things that like you have to pay people to do that probably shouldn't be done today, but it's worth a lot of money to them, right? A realtor here in Hawaii that's going to sell a beachfront property can make like $10 to $20 million off a sale or something. And if they have something that can save them, you know, tons of hours and it results in a sale, hey, that's a big percentage that they can take. And then we can charge an equivalent if we're helping them in that process. Or, you know, somehow there's some type of relationship that needs to happen. Maybe it's not even the process side. It literally is just finding out who the person we need to talk to start that lead process, to, you know, say, you should, you know, if you want to start to sell in this neighborhood, these are the people that are probably of influence. You know, they publish newsletters. It could be research related, but it's kind of towards this goal of what you want to accomplish. And I think there are many businesses like that all over the world that are probably pretty much untapped, especially small to medium-sized businesses that if I make a cool $10 million a month, I don't mind. Like, they're making, hundreds of millions or something like that. And like, they'd be willing to pay if it helps a big part of their business. And we're, using these types of SDKs to achieve very high performing, high impact type of things. And I think now is the time to play with it. And I feel like, if you guys have been playing with these types of agents, let us know what you've been building. I'd love to see, some examples too, because I feel like now we can ask Cloud Code to build it and it will build it, right? But now we need a really good business idea to kind of get right behind. So lots of different things.
That'd be nice to like free up humans from like all the dumb jobs that they have to do, like taxes and stuff like that. Like who wants to do that? They have like more, I'm sure there's people who are doing jobs right now where like if we could free them up with an agent, they would have more time to do the right thing, the thing that's going to move humanity that like step forward. So it'd be cool to free up some people as well. And there's always, when you save people time or money, right? Like there's always value in that.
That's right. Yeah, Lisa says solo devs can make big waves in small businesses because enterprise grade security problems are requirements. Yeah, it's facts. It's so much facts right now. I think this is a ripe opportunity, and this like one part of it is like long time ago, building an SDK like this for yourself would take a very long time, but this is already proven in the market. Like I've been using Cloud Code, right? Like this is actually a proven solution. And to get these tools now available to us, it's like, oh, okay, now I got the sword, I got the laser beam, I can make anything I want. Now go make it. So like, it's going to be weird, but so it might involve me like listening to a lot of these random podcasts for ideas, but I'm going to come back next week. I'm going to have my list and then you're going to have your list and we're going to nail it down to at least like 3 different ideas. And so I want you guys to vote. And if you guys have anything, go ahead and drop it in the comments too. So if you're watching this later on, like drop it in the comments, let us know like what should we build? What should we start working towards? Maybe you want to build with us too. Why not? Right. I feel like this is going to be a really fun opportunity to build not only with this, but we're using any type of tool possible in our hand because the goal is to make something that's really valuable to humanity, really using these AI types of things. So yeah, Harry, that's a really...
Let's build some agents.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a quick stream. Just wanted to hop on. This is a new thing that we're trying out here. And, Harry's from Imaginary Spaces. I should probably like introduce you actually formally before we head on out. So yeah, let them know what you're about.
I guess guys, like, hi, I'm Harry. We're the preferred, one of the preferred lovable partners in the world. I run a 17-person agency here in Argentina, building as much as I can with AI and trying to build the next $1 billion solo company. So yeah, I'm excited. Like as Ray said, I think all this new technology is coming out. We just want to keep playing with it and expose you guys to like us playing live, because I think it's like a really cool opportunity for us to all learn. And I'm super pumped to hear about the agents you guys have seen that have been making like waves as well. I don't think there's that much out yet. Like everybody's so hyped about it. Everybody's like, oh, agents. But I haven't seen any like really great real world examples yet.
Yes. Yeah. Same. I've not seen them in action. Maybe they are in action and I just don't really know it. But I want to start this conversation with y'all. And so get that things installed from Claude, the Agents SDK. If you haven't been already, you can use Python, you can use TypeScript with it. And let's start cooking, fam. There's no reason why we can't. I think we're in an age of abundance, and getting the narrower scope for the problem is going to be more important, and also figuring out of the big markets that we can achieve. It's not going to be very broad. So it's not going to be like all lawyers. It's going to be like a divorce lawyer that deals with this and makes, $20 million a year or something like that. They'd be willing to hand over X amount for this really obscure process or something that they just don't want to do, right? Or they want to pay somebody for that. So it's like,
yep,
sure, let's cook. So awesome, man. Cool. Yeah, thanks, Harry, for coming on the show. Anyone who's just dropping the comments, also shout outs to Lisa, who's also dropped in as well. And then JK Software, who's going to drop some examples in the Discord. Really appreciate that if you haven't had a chance to check out the Discord as well. And big shout outs to Lisa as well. Also saying that he has too many ideas. Yes, I appreciate y'all for becoming members and joining on the stream. Also, everyone else has kind of been commenting. Y'all are the real ones. I'm kind of on a streak right now. I've been streaming almost every day. So like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So Yeah, we're going to come back and then check out some other stuff as well. We're not agnostic to Claude, by the way. I'm open to OpenAI. I'm open to everyone else because Grok also has a research type of thing. But as far as like an SDK agent kit, I think this is really promising, and I'm really curious to see how we can make the next cursor of whatever, you know. Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We'll see you later. Peace.